Hello, everyone. This is Sonny. Say hi, Sonny. He is, if you watch the intro to these videos, he's the star of the show right there. What, do I smell good? I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to introduce everybody to Sonny. And what are we going to do? We're doing Housefire 25, Part 3. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Put me down, dude. Yeah, so Housefire 25. If you're new to this, if you haven't watched the other 2 episodes, this is a series of 5 videos where I have chosen 25 pieces from my vinyl collection that I would absolutely have to save if my house were burning down and I could only grab 25 things. And I've been doing 5 records per episode, part 3, so this would technically be 11 through 15. All right, let's do it. Now, these are in no particular order. It's just, I chose 25. To be honest, I haven't chosen the other 10 yet, but, you know, we'll get there. But anyway, I'm just, as I come up with another 5 I want to talk about that I would definitely save, then I make another video. And first up, I have to save this one because this is one of my favorite albums of all time. State of Euphoria by Anthrax. And this is a 1988 US pressing of this album. So since it's one of my favorites, I absolutely have to save it. I've got 2 other versions of this album as well. But this is, you know, the OG. And so I would have to save this. Let's take a look at it. There's the inner sleeve there. As you can tell, this was a punch out. It's hard to believe in these days with the world of vinyl collecting that there was ever a time that they had to like do a cutout of an album that somebody didn't want to buy. Anyway, so yeah, there's the Anthrax dudes there. There's some lyrics and some tiny pictures, if you can see them, on that side. And then this has got the Megaforce. Whoop, 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 whoop. Can you see that? The Megaforce and Island labels on that because they were, I guess the deal was between, they got a major deal with Island, but they were still technically tied to Megaforce. But I think that ended on the next album. But anyway, I know this is an album that a lot of people like to point out isn't very strong, and I for one am going to chalk that up to a ever-evolving groupthink mentality, which happens with a lot of albums, where there's people that just like the album because it's good, but then it becomes almost like a thing that you're supposed to say to sound like you know what you're talking about, so everyone just says, oh, that album sounds like it was rushed. No, it doesn't. It sounds fucking great. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. So anyway, I would definitely save State of Euphoria. All right, keeping with the yellow theme so far. I mean, this is it for the yellow theme. But this is a 1991 European pressed in Germany pressing of Sailing the Seas of Cheese by Primus. This is my favorite Primus album. A big reason that this one is going to go with me is the fact that I've always loved the sound of this album, and the reissues that have come out over the past several years were remixed by Les Claypool, and it sounds good, but I'm not a fan of remixes, even if they're better in some sort of arguable way. I'm still just like, yeah, but this is the album that I fell in love with. It sounds like this. And so I wanted to get an original copy of it on vinyl. Plus, like, I always loved the picture on the back, and on the updated versions, it's a different picture. Don't know why, but I like this one. Let's take a look at this. Look at that inner sleeve. There's literally nothing on it. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, there you go. Interscope Records, and for a while there, Interscope Records was pretty adventurous with the bands that they were signing, including Primus. I guess maybe they are still pretty adventurous. I don't know. So yeah, there are 2 other OG pressings from back then, and I'm sure they all sound the same. Sound fucking great. I have no idea. I know this one sounds great. And I think a little bit later on, they did do a reissue where it's just the regular audio, but I don't remember who put that out. And honestly, I don't trust, I don't know. I don't trust a lot of reissues like that unless there's absolutely no other way to get it, because in my brain I go, did you just take a CD and put this on a record? But yeah, This one, OG, Sailing Seas of Cheese, great fucking album, great band. Primus sucks. All right, next up, an album that is very, very important to me. When this album came out, I was obsessed with it. So, of course, it's one that I want an OG copy, and the OG copy is one that I would absolutely have to rescue when my house was burning down. The Real Thing by Faith No More. If you look, there's a little warning there. This is a promo copy. Oh my God, I think it's pretty. They always say not for sale, but it's like, is somebody going to come for me? Well, I technically didn't sell it. I bought it, but they are supposed to be able to come and grab this from me whenever they want to. Please don't, okay? Anyway, there's the back cover there. So a big thing about this that I love is this is my favorite version of this album. I'm not a fan of the remasters. I don't think they sound as good, but also I love the track listing on this one right here. I love the fact that they omitted War Pigs most of all, but I know that Edge of the World isn't on here, and Edge of the World is a cool song. I like that song, and the original version I had on cassette had Edge of the World on it. But just the idea that it just ends with Woodpecker from Mars, I don't know. I love this. I love that it's just like the meat and potatoes version of The Real Thing, and I absolutely love it. Anyway, let's look at the inner sleeve here. This actually has things on it, but it is black and white. And it's got some lyrics and some more lyrics and stuff and some tiny pictures in there. And then we got the Slash Records logo, all big there on the label. Now this is, did I already say this is a 1989 pressing? It is, and it's a US 1989 pressing. I've actually heard other people say that they have this same version where it's got the promo stamp on it. And I was like, man, how many of those are floating out there? I guess this was a band that at first people were probably unsure about, especially at radio stations and stuff like that. So they were trying to get the word out because Faith No More fucking rules. Anyway, this album, I'm pretty sure this album opened my mind to a whole lot of other music and sent me on the path of being the perpetual outlier that I've been ever since. So, 1989 US pressing, Faith No More, The Real Thing. All right, next up, another one that's very special to me, and who knows if it's ever going to get a legit repressing on vinyl. Rollins Band, The End of Silence. This is my favorite Rollins Band album. I love this album. And this is a 1992 European pressing, pressed in Germany. And this one is on 2 discs. So we'll look at and it's got 2 different inners too, which is pretty cool. There's pictures of the band and then a picture of the band in full. And of course, the labels are, nothing really interesting to look at. But, I know some people like labels. I actually like looking at the labels on records, even when they don't really have anything special going on. And here's the next one. It has this awesome shot of Hank himself, and then lyrics on the other side there. And then it's the same Imago affair going on the label. And the fact that this is on Imago is a big reason why I feel like there's never going to be a legit reissue of this, because Imago folded after not very long at all, and apparently were infamous for not really treating their artists fairly, and like all sorts of bands that were on Imago had issues with Imago, and so I don't know if this is ever going to be reissued like legit. I know there's an unofficial release that actually came out this year in 2024. So if you desperately need this and don't want to fork over some money, then I would go that route. But there were only 3 pressings of this back in the day in 92, and there was one in 93 from Brazil where they put all of this on 1 disc. And it's a fairly long album. So I don't know if that one sounds good or not. I have no idea. But this one sounds great. I love this album. I love the sound of this album. And of course I want an original on vinyl, and I'm glad that I was able to find one. I don't even remember what I paid. Don't even ask me. I do not remember. But 100% The End of Silence would be in my Housefire 25. All right, last but not least, this is gonna be a thrash metal sandwich here, and we're gonna wrap up having one album each from the big four in this 25. I have a feeling there'll be some other albums from certain big four bands. But anyway, this one is one that is very sought after by a lot of people, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection. And it's a banger and a classic, so of course it goes in my Housefire 25. A 1986 pressing of Rain in Blood. This is a U.S. pressing of Rain in Blood from Slayer. Man, I've always loved the photo on the back of Rain in Blood. Anyway, yeah, and then there's the track listing and everything. And here's the inner sleeve, which has the lyrics in red there, and on the other side, a big old Def Jam Recordings logo right there. And then here it's got the same Def Jam label that all the hip hop albums on Def Jam had. And the thing that I love about this particular pressing, I don't know if it's on other pressings as well. I don't think it's on any of the repressings, but my favorite thing about this pressing, aside from it being an 86 pressing, is that at the end of side 2, at the end of Raining Blood, you hear the rain sound effects happening. The record has a locked groove at the end. So you're hearing the rain sounds after the song ends, and they never stop. You start hearing a loop of rain sounds that just keep going and going and going. And I always just thought that was so cool. I love locked grooves, especially when they're done and to a really cool effect like that, where it's like the ending of this short burst of energy of an album, and then there's just a rain sound effect that if you aren't paying attention, it will just continue playing forever. Anyway, I don't need to really talk much more about this one. I feel like if you're any kind of metal fan at all, you already know this album. So yes, Rain in Blood is in my Housefire 25. All right, so that's it for this episode. There are now 15 slots taken out of my 25 that are going to be rescued from the Housefire. And yeah, like I said, I have still not solidified the last 10. And once I come up with another group of 5 that I'm 100% settled on, you will see part 4 of the Housefire 25. Who knows when that will happen, but it will happen at some point. And but of course, I've got all the other bullshit that I do going on. So I appreciate everybody watching and taking the time out of your day to give me any of your attention at all. So thank you very much for watching Housefire 25. Sonny, you got anything you want to add? Oh, okay. If you could see him, he just rolled on his back, and he's like, oh, you can come up here for the ending. You can come up here for the ending. Okay, so this is the end of Housefire 25. So what do you want to say to all of your fans out there in TV land? He's okay. All right, buddy. All right, I understand. He's camera shy, but all right. So thank you from me. Thank you from Sonny for watching this video, and I will see you all again very soon.